Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE SmackDown episode 1054, which was broadcast on November 1st, 2019. Normally, I would also be talking about 205 Live together as one episode, but I think from now on I'm going to do them as separate episodes so I can give a little bit more focus on each of them. And because with the delay for the local channels here in the Mountain Time Zone, I can't watch them all like one right after another as they broadcast live. I could, because it should be on demand once 205 Live would be on demand once SmackDown is over. But anyway, as it stands right now, it's 205 Live broadcast during the second hour of SmackDown while here in the Mountain Time Zone, because it plays at 7 p.m. here, which is an hour after it actually happens, which is not as bad as on the West Coast Pacific time. That doesn't play until 8 o'clock their time, which is a long time after. It's 3 hours after it actually happens. So that's one of the biggest, pretty much the main drawback of this show now being on Fox, is that there's that shift. Actually, I guess it's like that for USA also, except it's also like that for here in Denver on but luckily earlier AT&T TV Now was on the East Coast feed and not the West Coast feed, which is 3 hours anyway. Let's talk about this episode. So there were issues with the flight getting out of Saudi Arabia, whatever the exact issues are, whatnot. There's been reporting on it and all of that. So a large portion of everybody, SmackDown and Raw, were not able to get back to the United States before the show even started. I think their plane that they finally got out on landed like right at the end of the show, basically, and so nobody was on there. Nobody's on there. The only people that made it over were Brock and Paul Heyman. I don't know if they for sure were at the show the night before, or the day before, the Crown Jewel. So we opened up the show with them. The commentary team to start off was Tom Phillips, Aiden English, and Renee Young, and they were awesome. I really, really liked this team. And then a little bit later, Aiden was swapped out with Tom McAfee, and I thought he did a really great job. It was a lot of fun. So we opened up with Brock. He's really mad at Ray. They replayed pretty much the entire match, so that filled some time. And now I'm glad that I didn't go back and actually watch it, because I watched it as part of this episode, so that worked out. So Brock, he was told that he can't be served up Rey Mysterio because he's on Raw, and so So Brock and Paul announce, Brock quits SmackDown and he's going to Raw to fight Ray. So this solves the problem of there being two world championships on SmackDown. The Universal Championship is now the SmackDown's top title, and the WWE Championship is now Brock Lesnar, or not, is now the WWE Championship and Brock Lesnar are now Raw's champion. So there you go. That seemed simple enough. I kind of had a feeling something like that would happen. Now the question is, does the Universal Championship turn blue? Does it turn just a strange color anyway because it's in the possession of the Fiend? I guess we'll find out on Monday. Once everybody is actually back. So next week's episodes, Monday should be a somewhat normal episode. But then the following to SmackDown and Raw, they will be pre-taped because they're in Manchester and they're doing two episodes. They're doing both Raw and SmackDown, taping those on Friday. So those should be kind of weird episodes, but hopefully they have lots of good wrestling, and maybe we'll see some NXT UK folks on those. That would be pretty cool. But anyway, we had Bayley versus Nikki Cross in a championship match. Bayley won that match. But the celebration was short-lived because Shayna Baszler appeared and attacked Bayley and Sasha Banks, and that was pretty awesome. Aiden towards the beginning of the match said that Bayley looks like somebody who dropped her lolly. I thought that was really funny. And then there was somebody in the audience who was dressed up as a wacky inflatable tube man, as a Bayley buddy, and they had a sign that said "Don't hurt me." So that was great. That person, best wrestling costume of the year. Okay. At this point, Pat McAfee takes Aiden's place. We have Sami Zayn talking about how NXT appears to be here, and so if they step up to him, they better watch out. And then Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee step up to him, chase him out into the ring. What did he say? Oh yeah, they chase him out to the ring, and Renee is like, he ran that fast in flip flops. Damn. Renee was great in this episode. She had the best lines. And they destroy Sami Zayn. We get to see a Keith Lee moonsault. All of that is pretty great. And then The Miz comes out, and he was supposed to be interviewing Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, but instead he's interviewing himself. And I forget what exactly he was doing, but another great line from Renee. She says, "I love Miz, but this is excessive." So as he's talking, about to preparing to interview himself, Tommaso Ciampa comes out and cuts promo on The Miz, and we get The Miz versus Ciampa, which Ciampa wins via a fairy tale ending. So that was pretty good. Backstage, Daniel Bryan. When earlier in the night, Brock Lesnar is leaving with Paul Heyman, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels are like, "Oh, yikes. What's that about?" But I think Shawn Michaels had his NXT hat or something on. I was like, yes, NXT is here. Daniel Bryan wants a fight, and he picks a fight with Triple H. But Triple H says, "I don't have my gear, but I do know somebody who can fight." Who is ready to fight? And that is Adam Cole. So Daniel Bryan accepts that challenge and says, but one more thing, it's got to be for the NXT Championship. So that was pretty awesome, and we'll get to that match in just a minute. Mandy and Sonya were prepared to fight Carmella and Dana Brooke, but they didn't come out to Carmella's music. You go backstage, they were both getting beat up by Bianca Belair, and then out comes Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox. Rhea cuts a quick promo, and who said that? I think it was Pat. He's like, he explains she's from Australia, like explaining her accent. That was so dumb. But also at one point he said, when did he say that? I think he was talking. It was during the Miz and Ciampa match. He says, "I'm no mathemetist," and then he said some other stuff. That's not a word, but now it is. And now whenever something happens, I would say I'm no mathematist, but this doesn't add up. Um, Terminator 2. I watched Terminator 2, and so the last episode was a quick non-spoiler review of Dark Fate, and I watched Terminator 2 before SmackDown last night, and it's a great movie. Story is awesome and all of that, but it just reminded again. I had intended to see it in the theater, because they had they were playing Terminator 2 at the Alamo Drafthouse, in celebration in preparation to see Dark Fate. Then also today they had and I bought a ticket, but then I canceled it because I realized that's a lot of sitting in the theater. And also I thought it was a double feature of Terminator 2 and Dark Fate, but it was a double feature of the Terminator and Terminator 2. And the first movie, I've only seen it like once or twice, but it's not that great. It's like Terminator 2 is so much better than it. It's like not even close. But maybe I should go back and watch it because I have the Blu-ray set, and I just ordered Sarah Connor Chronicles on Blu-ray so I can rewatch that again. And I didn't have, for whatever reason, I didn't have Genesis yet. But I did see that in the theater. But I want to rewatch everything again and then watch Dark Fate again, and I'll do like a whole in-depth talk episode about it. But anyway, what was my point? Oh, the one of the things that's not good about Terminator 2, in my opinion, is that Edward Furlong his performance isn't good. It has a lot of ADR, probably to cover up whatever to make the performance better. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm talking trash about him. In general, just like his performance in this movie, I feel like is the worst thing about the movie. And in my opinion, Dark Fate, I'll talk about this more in the follow-up Dark Fate episode, but Dark Fate doesn't have that problem. And so I would argue that Dark Fate is almost maybe a better movie. I don't know. That's just, I have to see it again, but I kind of enjoyed Dark Fate more than I like Terminator 2. And that, not to say I don't enjoy Terminator 2 is freaking awesome, but I think I enjoyed Dark Fate even more. Anyway, back from being sidetracked. Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox, they defeat Mandy and Sonya because Mandy Rose taps out to that Shamrock hold that is so badass, and it's this match alone made me so happy, but this episode overall was just awesome, and I loved it. Stephanie comes out, talks about the first women's match in Saudi Arabia, at least on a WWE pay-per-view show, because there have been some women's matches before, but not on this scale or whatever. But anyway, if you add in like all the technicalities and all the stuff like that, it's just like simpler to say, oh, it was the first thing. Good job. Technically a lie then? Anyway, I thought she was going to be at ringside representing WWE, backing Daniel Bryan there, but she was not, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. But Triple H and Shawn Michaels were there at ringside for Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole, baby, for the NXT Championship. This match is awesome, especially the last segment of it after the final commercial break. I was fully expecting, because Roderick Strong came out with Adam Cole at the top during his entrance, but then he went backstage again. I was fully expecting at least him to come out and interfere and help Adam Cole to retain the championship, but he didn't. There was no funny business. It was a clean victory for Adam Cole over Daniel Bryan, which was pretty awesome. And then all the NXT people who are there come out. Triple H is there, and he says, "This is our ring, and we are NXT." All that stuff, and yeah, it closes out the best episode of SmackDown, at least since before WrestleMania. I would argue that the Kofi Kingston Gauntlet match episode was maybe better than this one. But there might not have been as much other cool stuff. Like, that match was definitely awesome, but I can't remember anything else from that episode. So this very well could be the best episode of the season. If I come back through everything and like analyze segment by segment, okay, which episode had all the best segments? This one did. I'm not even going to do the research. I'm just going to say this one did. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I hope that they invade Raw on Monday as well. And then maybe everybody invades, not everybody, but maybe a bunch of people invade NXT on Wednesday. Which, holy crap, that would be great if that happens, because I am planning to be there for that. It would make up a lot for having missed this week's NXT. Oh, I'm getting really excited for that. Anyway, that's it. That's everything for this episode. I'll be talking about 205 Live real soon. Probably later tonight, like late tonight. Or even tomorrow. I might even watch it. So I'm gonna go down to the flea market to sell some stuff tomorrow on Sunday. So that could be a good time while I'm driving to have 205 Live on to catch up on that. But that's it. Yeah, this episode is awesome. It was awesome. Rhea Ripley teamed with Piper Niven on NXT UK this week. I did not watch that episode. I just had a feeling that at least Rhea or Tegan also had a match on NXT UK. And so Rhea Ripley, 3 matches on television this week, and that is so cool. Wait, did she? No, she didn't have an. Did she have a match? Oh, I'm mistaken. She did not have a match. She appeared on NXT this week. She did not have a match on NXT. But she was involved in a lot of stuff. So anyway, all of this is super awesome. I'm super excited for Survivor Series. My travel package is arriving on Tuesday, I believe. Like all of my tickets and all that stuff. So I am super excited for that. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I got my ticket for a meet and greet with the NXT champions at Survivor Series. They have a bunch of other ones. They're not doing the whole like convention style thing. It's just specific meet and greets in 3-hour windows. And they have like the whole VIP thing where you then have like a Q&A with them afterwards. There's only like 25 of those tickets for each of them, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it seems like a really great deal if you want those specific people. But you don't get anything extra. It's not like access and stuff, and there's no like exhibits and things like that. It's just the straight up meet and greets. But I think that'll be fine. Especially because they're all so there's Sting by himself. That's the only one that's a solo thing. And then they have the New Day, they have the OC, and then they have Sasha and Bayley. But the bad thing about the Sasha and Bayley one is that it takes place at the same time as TakeOver. So that's kind of a bummer. But so I otherwise I would want to go to that one. Or I do want to go to that one, but I can't. I'm going to go to TakeOver. And then on Sunday it was NXT champions and Becky and Seth. I think it's only those 2 sessions. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Hopefully, I feel like that Sunday session with the NXT champions is at the same time as when the like breakfast thing is supposed to be. But hopefully maybe they do that on Monday instead. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll find out, and then I'll let you all know, and then you'll find out. So yeah, I'm getting pretty excited for this month's stuff. It's going to be great. And in the meantime, I'm like packing packing stuff, sorting stuff, all that, getting ready to move in the following month. So if I get enough of that done, I'll be able to go to Minneapolis for TLC, which would be super awesome. So, but we'll see what happens with that. It's probably not a good idea to travel to Minneapolis, and I think I just plan on not going. Even though TLC is so much fun, but it's pretty likely that it's going to snow and stuff, and weather will be bad. So we'll see. Let me know what you thought about this episode of SmackDown by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.